I'll be
Guys,
live.
while I've got you, let's sync up with this kickoff, so then I'm
Yeah,
not
okay.
too far ahead of
We'll
you
sync
again,
up
because
with
I've
the
been
kickoff.
waiting for the
Yep.
clock.
They are so terrible. Get on YouTube, friends.
It's off on my screen. It's just been passed
Well,
back.
who's this bloke here trying to support City? Like,
It's Will.
is it?
Yeah.
Oh, grow up.
Passed
Is
back
it
yet?
really? All right, here we go. Yep. So there's still no clock.
The ball's being passed around at the back now.
Yeah, Tommy just kicked it. So
Second
we're in
behind you.
possession.
I was gonna say I can tell you
Ball
I'm
over
a
the top. Oh.
I can tell you guys that
Hey,
I'm
you
a
just said
reasonable
Will
way
got
behind
pulled
you.
on.
All right, here we go. I've got the time. So I'm 48 minutes and 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. So
Keep counting for 1 second.
I'm about
54,
15 seconds behind you.
55, 56, 57, 58, 59. So we're 49 now.
Sweet, I'm 49.3. It's just gone to
49,
that replay,
50.
so I think we're pretty synced. Sorry, Lockie, what were you trying to say?
I know I was just saying that mine's a little bit behind yours, but I'll jump on KO to catch up.
Hey, sweet. So is it live now? Have we got it going again?
Yep, so the stream is up, the stream is live. Apologies to everyone who's been watching for the technical difficulties, but obviously new technology, we're getting used to things, but we'll aim to get things a little bit better as time goes on.
After we have a run tomorrow for the women's game and then Monday night for the men's game against Newcastle, we'll be pretty well versed at getting this up and going. So bear with us. This is early days. This is the first time we're really trying this. So please contribute along the way. If you're on YouTube, comment, get any questions. If you want to know if you want to know what I had for lunch, want to know what I'm having for dinner, anything else, we're happy to answer your questions, especially about Melbourne City.
I suspect the answer to both of those
If
is
they're
a
city
halal
related,
snack
it
pack.
helps, but if they're not, we'll just give it a crack.
Did you want to give some match commentary then, Macando?
I'm just quickly updating to make sure we've got the right link going on, because it's changed again, so just give me 1 second.
Yeah, of course. McLaren in possession in the corner.
Yep, McLaren, I'm on 50 minutes and 19, 20, 22.
Birighetti with the ball. So, Birighetti, nice little roll along the ground there. He's an interesting keeper, Birighetti. He's conceded a lot of goals this year. I don't think it's particularly much to do with his keeping effort, and probably more the defence that's in front of him. But I just don't think he ever would have cut it with us. Like, if you're not challenging Bazanis, I think that Glover has shown that anyone can come in and challenge Bazanis and take that number one spot at City. And Birighetti obviously just didn't have the mental capacity or the the drive to do it. So free kick to City in the middle of the park there. Luna winning it, going into the ball hard. So
that's all updated. So yeah, look, I think Birighetti is showing his class and ability as a keeper when it comes down to individual saves. But when you've got a team like Central Coast who are so fragile in front of him, he's not going to be able to keep the clean sheets.
Welcome Oscar Black to the chat.
Oscar Black, having a listen. That's what I want to hear.
Oscar,
thanks for joining us, Oscar.
You're good too.
So we see here the ball's thrown in.
Yep.
Non-possession, having to play back, unfortunately. Oh, good turn by old man Griffiths. He's a goal-scoring centre-back now.
He's a good centre-back as well, because he plays it out from the back.
There's an interesting sub-story that comes from Griffiths playing the centre-back, which is the question of Curtis Good and Harrison Delbridge. Delbo's out of contract at the end of the season. Obviously, we all want to keep him, but as a player, would you stay on it somewhere where you've been dropped for a centre defensive midfielder in your role?
How could you not be dropped if you get as many cards as he does? So, like, warranted or not, like, I'm not going to talk about the merits of the red cards that he gets, but, you know, like, you kind of have got to understand that your position in the team comes under question if you're that ill-disciplined.
I think we've mentioned
touch
it a
on
few
that.
times.
We did discuss it on Beyond Football with Harrison. You can find that on our Spotify.
Mate, if you chuck in another bloody advert for your Beyond Footballs, I'll tell you what.
Our Beyond Football, mate. It's presented by Talking City.
It
so
is.
It's everyone's product. But no, we did talk about that, and he does talk about his ambitions.
Was it Delbo that you were the chipmunk for?
All of them, yeah. So there was an issue with
Oh, an
the
issue.
mixer for some reason, yeah. So I must have
An issue with the
made a
mixer.
mistake. Yeah, I think it was my issue more than the equipment, but yeah, there was something that was slightly off, so we've had to fix it for everyone.
It's obviously very
Yeah.
easy from up in New South Wales to be passing comments on the quality of technology.
Oh, maybe the amount I've had to drink tonight as well. I'm getting surly, so.
So we're seeing here a lot down our left-hand defensive side, the Mariners' right-hand attacking side. Miller, he's throwing himself to ground every time someone's around, and he's sucked the ref in about 4 times so far. Could you imagine if that was Fornaroli or any other striker who was going to ground as easy as he was?
Bruno
Australians would be paying for
Fornaroli.
blood.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a level of
Great tackle by
hypocrisy. It's similar.
Curtis, but very poor ball out.
It was a very good tackle. There is a level of hypocrisy that with the Australians around diving foreigners. I think they get it from the English as well. It's like as soon as there's a foreign player, they're all of a sudden a diver and a cheat. Whereas I don't think that they turn that level of scrutiny to Australian players to do the same.
Excellent
Robbie
fake
Cruz
there by
springs to mind.
Susaeta.
Oh, go on.
Whipping the ball in.
Oh,
Great touch.
Great save.
Oh, that's
by
an excellent
Berigidi
save by
there.
Berigidi.
Good save. He didn't have to do much to get to it though. It's just straight at him. But it was a good little piece of play by us, and I think it shows how quickly we can turn, nothing into something. Free kick in the middle of the park now.
So we're seeing Jamison get fouled a lot, and he has already had treatment once or twice so far this game. So hopefully, whatever brought him off early last week doesn't flare up again. I think we're going to see a very physical Central Coast Mariners for this second half because really they haven't got the quality to control the game. So it's going to be a very stop-start game with a lot of fouls. And I think we're going to see a lot more possession this half again, which is something that City is very comfortable doing.
You could very easily have ended that sentence with they haven't got the quality.
Yeah, I know, but I felt that'd be harsh. You don't want to pick on a community side coming up against a professional side too much.
No,
we see
that's
here
true.
A fantastic switch with Luceda coming down onto the right-hand side. He's got Luna
great
in support.
pass.
Hits Luna.
Should.
Luna finds Noon in the middle, who can't get it from under his feet.
Atkinson with the terrible pass there to kill it.
Yeah, Atkinson has his pass intercepted, but here we see the Mariners on a break, which is where their strengths are going to come from. It's gone outright. I can't tell who that is from there. Oh, don't give that as a foul. That's not a foul.
He probably came in a bit late there, to be fair. Yeah, look, it's not a card. I thought he was reaching for a card there. He was reaching for a spray, but yeah, he probably came in a tiny bit late. It was the right kind of foul to give, so I don't mind it too much.
Yeah, well, let's put Mariners in a position where they can score, as we touched on earlier. They are the most dangerous side in the league, with 55% of their goals coming from set pieces, and we're also the worst at defending set pieces. So we've conceded 14 goals, most in the league so far. Former City man Clisby over the ball.
We have discussed a couple of times the fact that Tommy Glover's positioning of his walls from set pieces has been a bit of a weakness, so interesting to see how this one goes.
We see Clisby with the shot firing it over the crossbar. Go on, Gus.
He's not great from free kicks, young Glover. But well, yeah,
look at time though. I don't think he's used to really setting up walls, and I don't think he's really got the hang of it yet. And hopefully that's something that, with a bit more match time and a bit more familiarity, comes a bit more success for him, because it's definitely his weakest area at the moment, apart from his distribution.
Absolutely. Welcome to John Eric in the chat, and welcome to MCHLTHMS to the chat. Thanks for joining us.
There's a few people. If you have anything you want to add, please just ask away, and we will let you know. So what should I have for dinner, lads?
I mean, surely the answer is a halal snack pack, isn't it?
I don't live in the halal snack pack area of Sydney. I live in the white hoity-toity part of Sydney. I think there's a Thai restaurant nearby. There's a few chicken places. Yeah, there's no HSPs near me, mate.
Chicken and chips, as always. Something you'll be owed from Harrison very soon. It doesn't look like Graham's going to be able to fulfill his part of the bet. Do you want to explain to people what the bet is? Because it hasn't been mentioned much this season with you moving on.
I can't even remember what it was. I just know that I'm going to win it. So I think
Remember,
it's
it was
So I-
something like
Fernando's.
5 goals.
I
I think
actually
he gets
remember
a
this
hat-trick.
from the very start. Yeah, so it was a hat trick, automatic win, or 10 goals in a season.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm well on my way to it. Like I think there was an appearance figure in that as well.
I think it was 10.
It might have even just be 10 appearances. I just think he's a spud.
Has from the
Appearances
forum
and a
with
certain amount of goals.
the suggestion of ravioli. Angus, how does ravioli sound to you with a couple of beers on board?
Ravioli does not sound great because it means that I'm probably going to put in some effort. So I would have to find an Italian restaurant nearby because I am not cooking tonight.
BT from Ballarat suggesting chicken and chips.
Yeah, chicken and chips might be the way. So there's a good one in King's Cross called Thirsty Bird, and they do a good katsu chicken burger, which is a little bit adventurous because with the Japanese katsu, and then it's in a burger, so that's a little bit less adventurous, but they're bloody delicious. I was kind of excited for the fact that we might actually have Sydney FC versus Melbourne City in the grand final up here, and I'd have a few people come stay at mine, but um, somebody decided to eat a bat, and those chances have kind of been slashed. But the season goes on.
Reasonable suggestion as well from MCHLTHMS, which I'm sure I'll be able to work out a way to describe it as cheesels and chips.
Oh, cheesels and chips. Cheesels are chips. You silly bugger.
Melbourne's favourite chip.
I don't know about
Oh,
cheesels and hot chips. I think that's a bad idea.
So I can
That's a
tell you
weird
an
mix.
interesting story about cheesels. In this last season gone past, we've been able to get, my wife and I have been able to get one of our good friends to join us, get a membership and come to the active support for some of the games. And she's very aggressively taken cheesels on board as Melbourne's favourite chip, to the point where her partner sent me a message the other day just going, I don't get it. Why does she love cheesels so much now?
good. Well, the thing is that Cheezels, we brought the Cheezels chant back. It was Harrison Verco, who is Harrison from the podcast and SEN fame. Was like, so it was a heart thing. I think it was Alex, the graphic designer guy who used to design a lot of the heart flags. He was the one that started it, and it was just like when heart were terrible. Then
Alex
kind of,
Canavo, I think.
yeah, Alex Canavo, yeah. So it was like season maybe 2 or 3 of City, and because I was capo at the time, and someone just happened to have him there, and Harrison Burko started it up, and I was just like, well, this is going off, and so I just kind of kept it going, and then it just kind of grew from there, and I realized how much it pissed certain people off.
Mental
And
attempt at a bicycle kick there, by the way, from I think Jordan Murray it was.
yeah, well, I don't know what he was thinking as. Oh,
Surely
he's
a
left him on
yellow
the floor
here.
now.
There it is.
You'd think so, yeah.
I should probably make an
and then-
apology. Michael Thomas is clearly what that guy's name is, and I'm just
Oh,
completely
Michael Thomas.
aspun.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, like one of my best mates was fucking was in his bridal party, did a speech at his wedding. But
Michael,
okay,
I'm
yes,
sorry,
yeah.
mate. That was terrible of me.
Yeah. No, that's fucking Tomo. Tomo is like part of terrorist history. That bloke probably hit the drum more times than anyone else in the terrorists combined. Everyone else in the terrorists combined. Yeah, he was drummer for Melburnians for years. Well, I'm glad that we've got a couple of people listening. So
We'll go back to discussing the game a little bit because I think we're getting, as much as off topic is fun, I think we're a long, long way away from where we need to be. Because we don't want to turn into Andy Harper and just be spewing nonsense.
That's true.
pretty
We
sure the
see
people are
here
here for
coming
the
down
nonsense.
Pass
the right-hand
wide,
side.
Natkinson.
Yeah, I enjoy the nonsense too.
Go on.
Oh, Florin. How good is Florin's form since that derby? He's starting to show what he's got on a
Yeah,
more
he's got a bit
consistent
of-
basis with only one bad game really since then.
Got a bit of confidence back in him, and that's a hell of a save though from Birighetti. He's
It
done
makes you
very
wonder
well.
what he was doing in training to not get an opportunity ahead of a struggling Bizanis at times, doesn't it?
That is not an easy save at all. He's done very well there. The cross is coming in, and yeah, cleared pretty simply. Brought it down well. Nah. Oh,
The corner,
Oh,
yeah, there was
that-
a deflection off that. So
Yeah.
Jamie hit that straight into
Yeah,
the
that-
defender and earned another corner for the City boys. How good is it to see the cost cutting measure? By the way, guys, no cannon for when they score because they obviously didn't expect to score, and no TV replays.
no, go away, Will. I think the security should be kicking him out, to be honest.
I think he's technically
So-
outside, so I don't think they have any jurisdiction.
Oh, I think they would have some kind of rule around the ground like that. I
Was
don't
it
know
in
why
here? It's
you'd
pinning around with McLaren having a shot and earning another corner with a quick
another
slide
corner.
from Ziggy Gordon, sorry, who has been able to play it out. Look, I think this is where we really need to get that next goal and start to look to kick on and put a couple past Mariners and really keep building the confidence and continue to get more people scoring goals and not having to rely on one or two people. It's a good chance for some people to make a name for themselves and really cement their position. We see the
Another
corner
ball
coming in
in.
again.
Yeah,
Birighitti comes out
Birighitti.
and claim.
That's a dominant grab. Terrible
Dangerous.
distribution there, though.
Yeah, just interesting choice to play it out, but it's worked out here for the Mariners with Tommy Orr playing it forward again to Nisbet, I think it is. And Atkinson there is strong in the tackle, but it'll probably be a foul, and it's finally given against him.
So,
It's interesting seeing that Tommy Orr's been away from the Central Coast squad for such an extended part of the season. He was their captain for a while. It's sort of since they've announced that he's going to MacArthur, almost like they were just wanting to play him. But now, I don't know, unusual that they brought him back, but he just hasn't been the same kind of player that he was when he was at Brisbane.
well, he was always the great white hope for Australia. He was like the next big thing, and everyone was kind of excited about him. I remember his Socceroos debut. I was there at the MCG against Japan, and it was just like, this is an exciting young kid. He's starting out. Just fizzled out.
Mm.
I think
Just
from
never
memory, he
made
had a
it.
few injuries, didn't he? I think his injuries kind of came at the wrong time from memory. I think that probably hurt him a bit.
A lot of players get injured, man.
No, I'm just more meaning. I think that's really what seemed to kill his momentum from what I can remember.
He should have become
well,
a professional goalkeeper in State League
But
5.
just to touch on that, why I think he's come back into the lineup. Stajic is starting to have some pressure on his job, and Charlesworth is starting to have some pressure on him as an owner. So maybe that's why they're bringing him back. But we see City starting to come in and whipping an early cross to Jamie, who goes over his head, but Luna receives it on the edge of the
back
box.
Post.
Poor pass there by Luna.
Average ball.
Atkinson gets it again and looks to reload. No early cross in. Looks for the back post with Susaeta, but couldn't get past the Mariners man. And then a clear foul there from, I think that was
Looks like Adrian
Susaeta,
Luna. But it was Susa.
Nah, white boots.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
I haven't quite got onto the boots just yet.
That's a clever way. That's a clever way of doing it.
You commentate local footy every now and again, and you get no information about anyone. Boots is the go-to because there's always one or two with fluoro boots. And we see here Glover getting the ball and mopping it up and playing it straight out to Atkinson. His distribution is a real issue. Well, not an issue, I should say. It's something that he definitely needs to work on, and being confident on the ball, because he gets so many chances to release an early ball, but he's a bit hesitant and sometimes put it out of touch. If he can figure that side of his game out, he's going to become a dominant keeper in this league, as we see the ball given up again and a free kick given to the Mariners about 20 yards out with Brillante going into the book.
Surely he'd be getting close to his fifth yellow card of the season by now.
I can tell you, actually, I had his stats up earlier. Give me a second, I'll find that for you. I had some stats all ready to go, but can't find them anymore.
So I guess touching on that point while you're searching for them in regards to the distribution for Tommy Glover, I guess the thing that he's got on his side is age and time. He's had quite a lot of experience for a 20-year-old, extended period of time in the Oileroos as their number one goalkeeper. Training with Tottenham, coming up against, Harry Kane. So he's got the capacity to improve. It's just how much he commits and how much he puts into it. As we see, Tommy Orr hit the wall, going out for what looks like a corner.
Just to touch on that, Brillante's second yellow card of the season. He's been a very well-behaved boy.
For a centre defensive midfielder, that's an excellent return.
Good boy, Joshy.
This is something that is going to come into it with people getting yellow cards. We're looking for teams to play every 3-4 days. The last thing a team can afford now is a suspension to any of your key players. So I think it's a key factor to keep in mind.
Well, another key factor that I'm kind of thinking about here is that we're 67 minutes in. We're going to need to see some changes soon, especially to the kind of key players. We're going to win this game now. This game's wrapped up. We're playing again in three days' time. It's 35 degrees. Bring some of the boys off. No, I'm calling it. This is done. This is done and dusted. There is no way the Central Coast Mariners are coming back in this game. They are garbage.
So who
They've
would you
scored
sub
from their.
then?
I'd probably bring
Just looking
Luna off
quickly.
and Brilliante and maybe Jamo.
And who would you bring on for them?
You've got
I'd
Galloway
bring
to go on for Jamo.
yeah
I'm
Gallo for
guessing
Jamo.
you would bring Metcalf on for
Yeah, definitely Connor for one
Luna.
of them.
Would you bring Delbridge on and
Um,
then shift Griffiths forward?
Yeah, you could do that. I'd be comfortable with that.
one of the big things for me is we've seen Florin and quite a few others cramp up. So I think Paddy will hold on to his subs for a little bit in case they start to cramp, like we saw in Sydney with at one stage we had 3 people down with cramp and ended up finishing the game effectively with 10 men. As we see Mariners
All
getting another
right.
goal here.
Oh, that's
Yep.
useless.
Okay.
Jordan
So
Murray
this
getting his
is
second for the game for
Angus,
the
this
night
is on
hitter.
you. This is
this is on
100%
me.
on you.
I will 100% take this one, and I'm gonna go make myself. I'm gonna fix myself another drink after that.
So again, we see Tommy beaten with a decent header. Definitely not something you would attribute as a goalkeeper error.
No,
His
it was a
position
good
is
header.
flow, but that's probably picking on him a bit. That's just the advantage of a player running at the ball with pace and surprising the defender in Atkinson, who didn't even know he was coming until the last moment. So
Comment on
I
the
think
live chat from a close friend of mine with Big Ooft. Thanks, Angus.
Don't you go blaming me.
I'm not. My wife
and,
is.
and
I
Has
will
from the
fight
forum
any
is
of you.
calling him a bit of a knob.
John Eric,
Uh, So we're
absolutely right.
seeing here with a drinks break for the guys, as it is so hot. That was what
Yeah,
37
drinks break for
in
me as
capacity.
well. It's bloody warm up
Mate,
here.
you run marathons. What more? You just put a ball at your feet and you'll be fine.
Yeah. No, it's drinks break for me too. Anyway, so keep the abuse flowing. Who else is insulting me on the comments?
That's it for now. That's it for now. Has from the
Just that.
forum called you a knob, and that's it.
Okay.
So we're
I'll
going to
wear
need
it. I'll wear it. What are we gonna need?
Angus just going for the priorities, which is more beer.
No. I've got my gin and soda now. I'm looking after my weight. Diabetes is a silent killer, people. So yeah, no, it's all good.
So 2-3, this has gone from being a game where we were very much in control, making chance after chance after chance, to a game where, now it's maybe a little bit closer. There's a few more opportunities opening up late on. We've seen matches like this previously where we've been on the front foot and we've been caught on the break. Do you think that's something that may potentially happen?
No, I think we
It's
got another
definitely
goal in it.
it's definitely something though that we need to score soon. That's the big thing. We need to keep the patience and keep a calm head on the ball and try to score this next goal in the next couple of minutes, so that we can really settle down and either press on to score the goals or just continue to play some football and see what pops up. But the last thing we want to do is give the Mariners a sniff, because they're going to be desperate for this result to avoid 10 straight losses. So they don't want to equal their own record, and to knock off second place would be a big scalp.
We have noticed a couple of games in a row now where it's been high scoring from our side as well as high conceding. So it'd be nice to see us rectify some of those defensive errors. They do seem like they're one or two very stupid errors in terms of how we're giving away possession, giving away the
Now,
ball.
sorry to interrupt you there. Did that not just sum up Nathaniel Atkinson in like 2 seconds? Just ball at his feet. He's got it on a string. He cannot pass.
Good,
Well,
and then
and then he's done as soon as I insult him, he does well. So
As you said, as soon as the ball's at his feet, he's comfortable. But here's where his game struggles, when he has to put in a cross.
he's
Let's see what he can deliver here. He plays a nice ball
had
to
a nice little
Sociedad,
short pass. Yeah.
who plays
Now
it back out to Luna, who's got the option to play Atkinson back in, but turns around and plays safe. Brillante's looking to play him back in, but Atkinson's definitely come back from an offside position there.
Yeah, it was a poor decision there from Brillante.
I think that's something we do see from Atkinson and from our wing backs. They do tend to get caught offside probably more often than they should. We see Rennie's man there on screen, Lockie Wales. Is this a game that's set up for him to come in and make a difference?
Hardly. I don't think Lockie Wales is worth anyone's time of day, my friend. I think that is you're better off giving Nazarene a run.
I don't think he's such a crazy call. Rami's one of the highly rated youngsters within internally. They rate him highly, and we get to see the best of him. And maybe it's time to give him a chance and let's see what his foot skills can bring us.
Yeah, potentially.
We
But
see
yeah,
here the
no.
Mariners getting some possession of the ball, looking to play it round the back with former City man Tongic pinging a ball across to another former City man in Clisby. Would you say he's gone on to bigger and better things with his time at the Wanderers and at the Mariners now, or do you think he's still at the same level, Clisby, that he was for City?
I think Clisby was a scapegoat for us, and he was also a victim of JVS's system. So
Agreed,
I
like
think,
a lot of wingers and fullbacks.
yeah, fullbacks always did badly under JVS.
To be
But
fair, he's never been anything more than a average quality A-League player. It's the same as
no,
Ruan Tongic. With us, he was
no.
okay.
Ruin had a lot of potential at the start. Like Ruin's got a lot of technical skills, and then he's just
Hang on,
not
just
got
to
the
cut you
brain
off here,
for it. Here
we're
we go.
cutting
Go on.
forward.
Oh, go.
Obviously,
Bury it. Yes,
J-Mac
Jamie's just finished the hat
J-Mac
trick.
hat trick.
And he
3.
looks pumped about it. We know
Go,
what he's
son.
we know what he's like when he gets to score,
Woo!
and that was a fantastic run there. I think was it by Noon who got it and ran through the middle.
I thought it was
So
Atkinson.
that's an awesome. Was it Atkinson? Sorry, yeah. Whoever ran it through the middle and got that initial shot off really created that chance, and a huge assist should go to them, but it won't. You're right, it is Atkinson. So Atkinson has taken it, run through, drawn all the players away, and then you
J-Mac's just
see
done well.
Jamie
He's
just being as
actually
calm as he can.
done really well to deliver that pass, Clisby, there, because Clisby's done very well to get across. He's covered a lot of ground and he's lunged really well, but J-Mac's just got it off in time and he's just got the right amount on it. So it kind of lobs it just over Clisby. I think it might have taken a little touch from Clisby on the way.
I don't think it was
Ziggy
Clisby. I think
Gordon.
it was that other
So
ringer.
yeah, he definitely has taken a deflection, but definitely a well taken chance by McLaren, who's got his first shot, got the shot off quick, and as we can see on the broadcast, that's his second hat trick against the Mariners. Did he not play when we played them earlier in the year?
He must have been.
He
There
played
was
in the
that
10-year game,
period.
didn't he?
There was the period when he was
To Western
off on
United.
international duty as well. He might have missed it.
The other thing
Yeah,
to
I
note
think it was
for
his hamstring
Jamie
as well.
McLaren in this is that this now takes him to outright in first place as the ball
Hang on,
gets
he's got
played in
another
behind.
chance here.
Jamie McLaren. Oof.
Goal kick, and
Should
we
have
see
put that
Harrison
away.
Delbridge on the side, ready to sub on. Sorry, Lockie, go on.
No, I was just going to say, I think with this hat trick, it takes him to outright first place in the Golden Boot. 3 clear of.
In the Golden Boot?
It wasn't too far off the
Alfie.
fourth, to be fair. He'll probably be.
Yeah, that definitely was a big chance for him.
Well,
that does take him. It takes him 2 goals ahead. So he'll be on 18, and Lafondra is on 16, with obviously his game still to come. Sorry, Gus, go on.
Seeing that we've got the eyes of the world on this at the moment, being one of the only leagues besides the Haitian First Division to be running, this has been quite an entertaining game for the A-League. I don't think there's been anything too embarrassing by A-League standards, and I think that hopefully this is a good advert for the league, and we'll get a couple of extra fans out of this.
Yeah, we see Jamo streaming forward, who hits J-Mac on the edge of the box. Is that a hand, or was that a...
got to be very close. That has got to be close.
That was definitely close to it.
A reaction from Jamie, though, so I tend to think it must have gone straight into his chest and the dangers of the Mariners, but we see Florin intercept it.
I think it was outside of the box anyway.
Play it in, play quick. Here we go. We see a quick throw taken. Oh, the ref had that right.
That was their ball.
Into the lino. Nah, that took a deflection on the way through.
The other thing to consider with Jamie is he's a very honest player.
No handball there.
He's a very honest player. You wouldn't expect him to be calling out for handball when he doesn't think there's anything there. He's a very down the line, measured kind of person, so you wouldn't expect him to be calling out for things that aren't there.
This is an interesting change. We've seen Delbridge practicing and preparing to be a potential right back option for a long time, and here's his chance to get about 13, 14 minutes to show what he's worth and show to Eric why he should get some time.
We've seen him play on both fullbacks plenty of times before. Remember,
I mean, they seem to be working on him specifically on the right-hand side. They put a lot of time in at training. The few sessions that I've been out there to watch of him playing right back and interchanging with Atkinson, so is this his chance to take that spot?
He always came here with the promise that he could play. He was a centre back who also played right back. In the first kind of couple of seasons, you know, the first season he was here, he almost always played right back. So
Meaning, is this his chance to take over from Atkinson on a full time level?
No,
I
I,
don't
I,
think so.
I
What
don't
what
think there's any
performance do you
chance of
think
Atkinson's
you
that.
far
have to
more
put in
expensive.
to get it?
I think it's going to be one of those things for Harrison Delbridge where you're not going to really see him getting all these opportunities to come into the right back position because of the fact that Atkinson, as an attacker, is a little bit ahead of him in terms of his positioning. But as a defensive right back, yes, he's okay, but I think he's certainly better as a centre back than a right back.
So just to touch on, we have seen Connor Metcalf warming up and is at halfway ready to change. I'd assume it'd probably be after this corner.
Yeah, it's certainly City not following the following the advice of never make a substitution on a corner. Craig Noon with the ball, coming in behind Ron Toniek, clearing the ball wide.
Smart play from Griffiths and little things like that he does that people don't necessarily give him enough credit for. You know, he was smart enough there to take the contact and duck and let the ball go straight back over and just take any pressure out of the situation. Little things like that show why he is such an asset to this side as a centre back.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
Well, that's worrying.
Oh,
I
that's
don't
a
like
bad
seeing
pass.
Glover get a ball that close to the goal line. He's definitely not comfortable on the ball at the best of times, so please don't put him under that much pressure. But here's a chance for the Mariners to try and bring themselves back into the hunt. But the ball's cleared and Jamie's long and he's 2-on-1. I actually tend to back Jamie in here.
Taking a little
He
bit of
ran into a bit of
time.
trouble.
So
The ball that
Oh,
he's
to get
played
some
out
time,
there really didn't give Florey much of a chance. Had to go wide. So
well
on
done by Florin. He went around and kept working forward to try and get the most out of it. The ball's played to Brillante, who's trying to find Jamie heading towards the back post, but it's headed away by Ziggy Gordon.
So the
The
question
chance
about
here to
Florin, I guess, is he's about to come out of contract, and yes, he's currently our marquee player. Would you keep him on heading into seasons coming?
I'd keep him under the cap. I wouldn't keep him as a marquee.
I tend to agree. I would definitely keep him as a normal visa squad player. I think the form he's shown over the last couple of months shows that once we find the right mix for him, he's a good enough player to justify being a visa player in this league, but definitely not at marquee wages.
Speaking of visa players who may potentially have the consideration for next season, Markel Susayeta. He's obviously signed on a
He's
half-season
taken a
contract.
few weeks. He's taken a few weeks for me to get into it, but yeah, he's been good the last couple. He loves sneaking up on that far post now. So I'm starting to like him. He's got a cheeky eye for goal now that he's got a couple of them. Almost identical areas that he scored from. I think he must have a combined kind of distance. You know, his average distance of scoring must be about 2 meters. But yeah, I rate him.
Not. What do you think about a marquee though? Is he a marquee deal on his current
Hard
output,
to
or is he
say. Hard to say because
money?
of how it's hard to say because of how little football he played in the lead up to this. So you know he's kind of almost taken 18 months without playing due to various issues. But he's complete class, and now that he's finding some form, it's good to see.
Excellent clearing
Um,
out by Curtis Good.
maybe another 3 goals this year like that, and I would say maybe Marquee is worth it, but at this stage probably under the cap.
Just to touch on someone who's been showing their class, how good has Curtis Good been this season, and especially in the last couple of weeks, winning save of the round last week for his goal line save, and again using his head to avert danger and giving away only a corner.
It's one of those things where it probably goes a little bit underappreciated exactly what Curtis has had to come back from. I'll pause for a second just for this corner whipped in, cleared by Harrison, and the second time
So I had a great chat with a
comfortably cleared
Newcastle
by
fan on Reddit about Curtis Good, and they were saying that they were really looking forward to seeing him over there, but the injuries kind of curtailed his career. And I was just kind of saying that it's been great. What's been good about seeing him play has not just been his form, but also his fitness. The fact that the entire time he's been here, for a guy whose career has been blighted with injuries, he's really played most games for us now.
He
absolutely.
definitely has. He's putting in a lot of minutes, and just before we go back to that discussion, a good bit of counter-attacking play there brought with Jamo brought down by Ziggy Gordon, and then we've taken control and brought it to this right-hand side with Suseda looking to step it up. Luna, who he's overlapped with, getting the ball and having to play it back to Brillante, who's now switched it back to the left wing to Jammer, who's played a beautiful ball in for Florin, who's looking for J-Mac with the header.
Oh, he's overly done it,
Jamie's
J-Mac
getting the
there.
ball on Tommy.
He's desperate for that fourth, though.
Here's Luna,
Oh,
though. Luna
Luna.
showing some fight.
Oh, he's
He's
down.
gone down
Luna's
Oh,
on
down.
the
that
calf.
looks either
He's
like a
Oh.
reacted as if his
hamstring or a
calf's
knee.
popped.
No, he's fine. He's going straight back up to stretch.
I think he's just about to get
Yeah,
subbed.
calf
His
cramp. I'd
knee
say that's
is
probably with
very
temperature.
strapped.
It did look like there could have been a foul there in the build-up, but yeah, thankfully he's got up and looks okay. So let's see him move around though. You would assume this sub would have to be Metcalf coming on for Luna now, especially with that limp.
Absolutely.
Looks like a left calf may have popped here.
Very much. I think he was reaching more towards his hamstring, but he was stretching out his calf, so who knows. Good to see him getting subbed off. 83 minutes coming back from his suspension. Excellent work. Looking forward to
And
seeing
back under
more
his
of him.
own steam as well. Didn't need any help, and Tommy Orr coming off for the Mariners. You know, this would be good to see Connor get another 5 to 10 minutes here because he didn't look comfortable coming on a couple of weeks ago at home when Florin came off the game who we played against. It's eluding me. I can't think of who it is off the top of my head. He's not. He doesn't look always comfortable coming on as a sub trying to change the game. So this would be a good chance for him to come on in a winning position and try and add some more value to what the team's putting out at the moment. And we see the City guys controlling the ball again, playing it to themselves, playing risk-free football until a good
Oh,
pass.
that is a ball
Delbo.
from.
That is an
That was an
excellent ball.
absolute ball from Delbo.
Another great ball
Oh man.
for Jamie, but well read by the Mariners. What a ball
To
by
be
Delbo.
fair, on the ball from Delbridge, the Mariners gave him a lot of space to pass it into, but geez, that was a good pass.
Measured it though, centimetre perfect. What more can you want?
So going back to the chat about Curtis from earlier, I had a chat to him before the start of the season about his injuries, about his time over in Newcastle, and he said the frustrating part was clearly just not the inability to play, but just the fact that he didn't trust his body. And what he had coming into this season was he was starting to feel like he could just ignore his body and play normally, and we're seeing that throughout this season.
Oh,
Just
Brillante.
a very hopeful effort from Volante, but as you often talk about on the Fox broadcast, he can only score from distance, is what they think. Birighitti has got
That
a
is
quick
inaccurate.
ball
He
out
scored
that's
from
been
a
snubbed
total
out.
of 3 centimetres out against Brisbane, wasn't it? Oh no, Western Sydney
It
Wanderers.
was Western
He didn't
Sydney
get
where he
that
tapped
goal.
in. He tapped in against Western Sydney.
Oh, sorry, I thought we were talking about the Brisbane goal. Brisbane's
No,
who kind of came on and couldn't make the difference against as well.
That's
he
true.
scored a tap in against Western Sydney in the 3-2 win where J-Mac scored in the last minute.
So speaking of potential substitutions to be making, should we be considering someone like Denny Jeanreau coming on for Florin to, ensure that Florin doesn't get cramping, get soft tissue injuries, which he's had a couple of times in his career?
Well, I'm kind of disappointed that we haven't seen a lot of Denny over, the last kind of month and a half. Really, since the Ollie Roos campaign, Connor and Denny have suffered as a result in terms of the team and the chemistry and what's going on. I'd love to see Denny back on. I think he's great.
Would like to say though, we have seen a lot of it coincide with the rumours of MacArthur popping up. Maybe there is a little bit more to it, and the club's not wanting to invest too much time into a player that's told them that he's going to leave. Look, you all know my opinion. I think he's in the right spot for his career, but he may want some more minutes at this point, and you can't really fault him for that. As we see Florin chop down again, yeah, I would be getting Florin off at the next opportunity. He's been fouled a lot and he's been struggling with cramps, so it'd be good to get him off and preserve him because he has looked good and he's playing well at the moment. It's definitely something we'd want to make sure is available for Monday night against Newcastle, which again a very short turnaround with 2 games in New South Wales in 3 days. So
Did you
we
just
want to
go
make
into
sure.
the toilet there, buddy? Your microphone just changed really echoey.
Oh no, I haven't moved. Is it bad?
I don't know. If you needed to take a piss, mate, you can just mute it and just go.
I like
It's
to make
okay.
sure I can give you my opinion, Gus, because you're the only opinion I care about in this world.
To
That's
answer
good. That's what I want to hear.
to answer a question from the chat to Haz, it was my wife who was whispering. She was going to put a comment into a question into the chat, but I figured she could just ask it to me directly. But thanks for your concern.
From the Mariners, I wish they'd put that Gone to the Pub banner up. You know the one they did a few years ago when they protested?
That was for the protest. Yeah, no, that was
Bring it back
that
out.
was for the protest. I'm completely okay with that not being shown.
I
Curtis
just
under
wouldn't be glad
pressure
they
with
brought
an
it back out.
excellent ball out to
Oh,
J
that's a
Mac.
That
great
is a
ball.
mile offside.
Yeah.
It's like 5 meters offside.
Here we go. An advantage there for the offside. Generally, they pull them back. We see Wales preparing. He's on halfway and stripped and ready to go. I'd assume this would be for Florin, and you'd put Sulsaeta into the midfield, but it might be a straight swap for Sulsaeta.
See
We'll
what
soon
comes
see.
up. Wales is off
Oh, no,
for.
sorry, 14. That's Sulsaeta.
Markel Susaeta.
Yeah.
There he
Shift from
goes.
Sulsaeta. He's showing, as we touched
He
on
is.
earlier, showing his class, and
He
he
is
also has
so
signed up not
skinny.
handshake. He is very skinny.
He is one of the smallest men I've ever seen. He's bloody good at football, but he's so tiny.
Bale scores here in stoppage time, and about probably 6 minutes that he's going to get, including stoppage time. Do you think that's enough of a springboard for him to launch an attack
No,
for the rest of the
No.
season, or do you think he's going to struggle no
no.
matter what he does?
Dumb question. Next.
I think I might give it a little bit more credence than certain New South Welshmen are willing to give it. But no, I think the fact that
I'm a Victorian expat.
nah, mate, you're one of them now. Get stuffed. I think the fact that he's had such an inconsistent season, and I think everything we need to consider is in the context of him having that ban from the Olyroos, being involved in that saga. It's not an easy thing for a youngster to deal with, and I think all things considered, he's done okay. But I think as a player, is he showing enough to justify another contract at this stage on anything more than minimum wage? Probably not.
You can hear his thoughts on the Cambodia saga on the Beyond Football podcast. He was a
That was a
fantastic episode.
incredibly candid talk, far more than I think I ever expected from someone
Yeah, he
who'd been
did
through
well.
so much.
He lost a relationship over that, man. Like, it's got to hurt you mentally.
Long-term
Speaking of,
relationship too.
Lockie Wales, reasonable ball in behind Ruan Tongic in the way.
We see
I
here.
still maintain they did nothing wrong.
Time. They broke team rules. I think that's the thing to remember. They didn't break any laws or anything like that. They broke team rules, which, by the sound of it, there was a bit going on. But we see a throw from Lockie, a long throw in. It's played back
Cheeky.
out by J-Mac. You're looking at the front post for a
Go,
good
son,
chance.
go.
Wales,
Oh,
Wales gets in behind.
I don't think that went out. I don't
Yeah,
think
it's
that would
given
have
us
crossed the
goal
line.
kick. Either way, though, Birighetti had it under control. So no harm, no foul, but a good run from him to get there and even to make the keeper make a decision.
Highlight makes it look like it was very, very close in terms of whether the ball crossed the line or not. Wales
See,
in
Wales
behind.
in behind at the touchline, crossing it in early, but J-Mac didn't attack the ball. He stayed back and had space around him. So another okay ball from Wales, just not really connected with his teammate perfectly well there.
Do you feel like we've got the most out of Jamie in today compared to games gone past? What's been different besides the fact that Central Coast are putrid?
Look, I think
He's
the
got
Central
space and
Coast.
time.
Yeah, I think the amount of space that's been given is probably part of it. A lot of teams have been, cutting the space to him and, cutting off his supply with players like Noon, which, he was getting a lot of supply early in the season, which was really helping him. I think that today he's been given a lot more of that he's been lacking the last probably month and a half, 2 months. So that's my take on it.
And what do you guys
Noon has
take on
also, by the way, got his 5th assist for the year today, so he's taken over as our leading assist taker as far as I can recall for this game so far, because he was equal with Luna and J-Mac. Sorry, go on, Lockie.
Oh no, it was exactly going to be about what we were talking about. Craig Noon, how he's done, whether we think, again, he's on a 2-year contract, and we usually do find that a lot of the visa players tend to do better in their second year once they've acclimatised to the ground, the temperature,
Nooney's like I know Matty B is very harsh on Noon. I think Noon has been he's top draw A League player. Is he pushing for his position for player of the season? Probably. Like in the team of the season for the A League, like I can't think of that many left forwards that are going to be pushing there, but he'd be in the conversation
Or
definitely.
just
So I
come back
think
to this with J-Mac on the edge of the box, taking a shot
it
that's
was
been deflected.
completely
The
fine.
Central Coast defender stepped on the ball, and now they've played it out. Sorry, Gus, go on.
No, I'm just saying that like when you think about left
Speaking
sided
of Craig
attacking,
Noon,
yeah, I know, straight into a Central Coast blow. When you're thinking of left sided attacking options in the A League, who else is there that's really gonna hold up a candle to him? He's in the conversation for sure.
to answer a
Yeah, I
question from
agree.
the
I think he's holding
comments
his
from
place.
sorry, to answer a question from the comments from Haz, yes, for the rest of this season, if we can, we are going to try to live stream some commentary for the games home and away because obviously uh,
Go on,
breaking
So
away
son.
for the
Go on.
moment.
Go
giving
on.
it J-Mac to get his fourth, but he's taken too many steps and taken himself too wide.
Probably should have
Sorry,
shot
Lockie,
first time.
continue.
No. I was just saying for the rest of
Back to
this season
Haz.
because obviously it's going to be played behind closed doors for essentially all of it. We will be trying to do a live stream commentary at some point, so you don't have to listen to Andy Harper's mindless dribble. Um,
And
so
we're very open to feedback as well. Like if you think that we need to talk more shit or less shit, we're happy to hear about it. If you want more of a play by play, let us know. Like this is just I have started drinking after work on a Friday, and this is where we are kind of situation. So this is made up on the fly, and we're doing it for you. So tell us what you want.
one of the things
We've
that
also
we
been very conservative with our play-by-play pure and simply because we're not sure of how the delay is working for you if you're connected ideally to where we are. So we've been a little bit conservative with that, which we can definitely add more in if that's what you want to hear.
one of the things that we may look at doing tomorrow with the W League Grand Final, assuming obviously internet connections aren't an issue, is streaming it based off the timing of the ABC game because that's going to be a reasonably consistent factor for everyone watching. They'll be able to watch it on the television as opposed to on different streaming apps. Hopefully, that will provide a little bit more accuracy with the play-by-play. But again, this is early days for us, as I'm sure it's early days for everyone with everything that's been going on at the moment. So give us a little bit of time. We will come good as time goes on.
That's something we'll talk a bit more about post game. What our plans are for this weekend with the W League Grand Final and also the game on Monday. But we'll talk about this game for the next 30 seconds or so until the whistle goes.
Lockie Wales with a
Scum shot
shot.
from Lockie Wales, but he just never got a hold of that, and looks like he's kicked more of the ground than the actual
That's
ball.
it.
And there's the full time whistle. So, what have we
Yeah.
made of the game, guys?
I think that the game was entertaining, to be honest. It almost felt like an early season game, not a mid season game that was played in 35-degree heat. So, um, win's a win. 4 good goals. Probably would have rather not conceded the two. Good little elbow bump there between the coaches.
I
So,
still maintain that they should be doing the Wakanda Forever
yeah.
non-touch.
Jamie taking home the match ball. He was just picking it up there on the broadcast, which is good for him. Another hat trick for J Mac.
Just
What were
quickly,
your
guys,
thoughts?
let's give some 3-2-1s. I think for me, Jamie probably gets the 3 votes pretty comfortably.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah,
Um,
no doubt there. I'd
it's your
probably
2 and 1s.
give my two to Susieta. Um, the goal and just being generally lively, and probably the one to Berengay. He's controlled the midfield there. He's had a few chances, and that would be my 3-2-1.
I potentially may give my one to Curtis Good. I think he's looked good. He looked good every time the ball came to him. He made some crucial stops and played a good game. Not to discount Florin, but I just think Curtis doesn't get the recognition he deserves. So I'm gonna give him my one.
Yeah, I
About
would
you,
agree. I
Lockie?
think Curtis Good's been pretty consistent. I mean, conceding 2 goals, disappointing for him, obviously, but yeah, I think Susaeta was pretty reasonable. Brillante was consistent. Delbo, to be fair to him, came on and he did a pretty good job coming out. He was playing a lot of good balls in behind. Yeah, I'd say J Mac easily 3 points, and I'd probably agree Susaeta and Curtis Good as 2 and 1.
All
So
right,
let's
cool.
quickly talk about tomorrow before we go, so that anyone who is still watching knows what's going on. The W League kicks off at 1:30, if I'm right off the top of my head.
You are correct.
So we'll try to be on about 1:15, and we'll be giving a another commentary stream like this one. So yeah, if you've got any feedback, feel free to get it in, and we'll take it in stride and make this one better. Hopefully, our connection issues are a bit more resolved with a bit more time, because obviously nobody's working tomorrow morning before this. So we'll be ready to go, and we'll be hope to see you all there tomorrow bright and early, 1:15 tomorrow, Arvo.
And
It's
obviously,
been
if you're not doing it already, make sure you follow Talking City on social media, Talking City FC at the Twitter accounts, Facebook, Talking
And
City.
talkingcity.online as well for some preview articles, some extra audio, all your beyond football stuff, which Gus loves. And everything we've got and we can give you will be on talkingcity.online.
Perfect. Most
real
important
clapping well.
question, Gus. What are you having
Yeah.
for dinner now?
That's a great question. I've just messaged Ash. I'm thinking chicken and chips.
There you go. Chicken and chips. So, BT from Ballarat with the advice from BT from Ballarat.
Good advice. All right, catch you later, boys.
Vic, thanks everyone. Thanks for joining in.
See you when it comes to the next stream.
Yeah.